Hi, I'm Emily, and for this discussion, I decided to discuss the case of Ward v. Wilbanks. So, facts of the case is between Eastern Michigan University and Julia Ward. So, Julia was in her graduate program for counseling and was attempting to complete it. And was assigned a client that was seeking counseling regarding same-sex relationships. Ward stated that how she was raised, her religious beliefs would interfere with having that client. So she did not feel comfortable providing counseling services to that client, and requested that the counselor or the client is seen by a different counselor. So the university thought that Ward's actions were a ethical violation, and they decided to let her go from the program. Due to the whole situation, Julia Ward, she filed a lawsuit against the university saying that this was a violation of her First Amendment right, her freedom to have religious freedoms and to feel how she feels. She thought that she should not be forced to counsel something that did not agree with her personal values. The university, however, thought that the counseling program stated that you have an obligation to make sure that you're competent in all of the things, and that you should be able to provide non-judgment counseling services, including the LGBTQ community. So the courts ultimately decided with the university, and that decided, yeah, you have that ethical obligation to enforce your professional counseling and ethical standards. So how does this impact my work as a professional counselor? I think that it's a good reminder that the client always comes first, that you should be ethical and competent in what you're counseling. You should be aware of who you're talking to and what their beliefs and values are, and be competent enough that you can have conversations and treat this individual, and be able to do that to people with all different types of ethical backgrounds and identities and lifestyles. What default religious beliefs or personal values do I possess, and how might I mitigate those when working with an LGBTQ client? So I was raised in a Christian household. However, that does not affect me and how I view the LGBT community. I'm pro whatever, and I think that everybody still deserves to be treated with respect and dignity and, compassion, regardless of their sexual orientation. So one way that I can mitigate my values throughout counseling is obviously just be self-aware of my personal biases, and then continue to go to trainings, keep the competence alive, make sure that I know what I'm discussing, and ask questions if I'm unsure, especially to supervision. But just making sure that you're focusing on empathy and compassion when you're talking to individuals like this, and not letting personal biases influence the way that you discuss to people.